What's up guys, JV2017 here, bringing another Destiny tips and tricks video. And this time we're looking at a leaked list of legendary weapons that will be in the Crota's End raid, which of course is coming out soon after the Dark Below expansion on December 9th, which is just over 2 weeks away. So keep in mind this stuff is subject to change, so take this information with a grain of salt. There are 11 primary, special, and heavy legendaries that we will look at today. Real quick before we get started, a lot of these weapons have a modifier called Hive Disruptor. This weapon deals bonus damage to stronger Hive enemies. I'm not going to mention it on a lot of these items because it's on most of them, but we're not exactly sure what this means in terms of bonus damage thus far, but I'll probably do some more research on this and let you guys know in a later video. Starting with the primaries, we're looking at the Abyss Defiant Auto Rifle. So you can tell from the stats, pretty high rate of fire, low impact, high reload, 32 magazine size. And what's special about this is it has solar damage, so it's one of those primaries with elemental damage, which makes it fairly strong. And its special modifiers are Focus Fire. When zoomed, this weapon fires slower but causes additional damage. And the other one is Lich Bane, which is completely new. Projectiles have a chance to disorient Hive Wizards. That sounds very effective, on Hive Wizards, and will be super effective in the raid, I'm sure. Next is the Eidolon Ally, which is again an auto rifle, and it has a super high fire rate, super low impact, and it has a 50 round mag. So it kind of reminds me of Atheon's Epilogue, but this one doesn't have any special elemental damage on it. It does have the Firefly modifier. Precision kills with this weapon cause the target to explode, and it also has Rangefinder. Aiming this weapon increases its effective range, so this sounds like an interesting little piece here. Here we have the Word of Crota hand cannon, and this has a fairly high impact, but the real shining part of this, I think, is the 12 round mag. That's a large magazine size for a hand cannon. It also causes void damage, which is super sweet, and the modifiers are Zen Moment. Causing damage with this weapon increases its stability, which I can tell is pretty good for a hand cannon. And then Crota's Pet. 3 rapid precision hits will return 1 round to the mag. So that is new modifier with the new expansion, and it sounds pretty effective as well. Next is the Oversoul Edict, which is a pulse rifle. This has a very high fire rate, pretty low impact, and high stability and reload with a 30 round mag. This deals arc damage, so that's an interesting thing. One of the first arc damage primaries that we have. And the modifiers are fully automatic. This weapon can be fired in full auto mode. And Darkbreaker. Projectiles will over-penetrate through Hive Knight Wall of Darkness. So that's the little shield that the Knights throw up, and it says immune when you shoot it. It's kind of annoying. This goes through it, so this looks like it'll be a very effective weapon, especially in the raid. For the final primary weapon, we have the Fang of Eire, which is a scout rifle. In terms of stats, it's got pretty high range, pretty high reload, and middle-of-the-road impact. And it's got a 15 round mag. So what I'm reading here says it does solar damage, however it doesn't reflect that on the picture. I'm not sure about that. That's one of the things you guys have to take with a grain of salt. So for the modifiers, target mark. Enemies hit by this weapon are briefly highlighted. That sounds very Call of Duty-like. And also third eye. Radar stays active while aiming down this weapon's sights. So this sounds like one of those, middle-of-the-road legendaries that we're going to see in the Dark Below. Now we're looking at special weapons. We have the Light of the Abyss Fusion Rifle, which has a really high impact, high stability, and pretty high reload, and has a 6 round mag. It also deals arc damage. So that's pretty nice, and the modifiers are Hip Fire. This weapon has bonus accuracy while firing from the hip, as well as Rangefinder. Aiming this weapon increases its effective range, which is what we saw on another weapon that we mentioned earlier. Here we have the Swordbreakers shotgun, and the stats, they're pretty low across the board because it is a shotgun, but the reload is the high point, and it's got a 5 round mag. It deals void damage as well, but the real shining part of this weapon are the modifiers. Lifestealer. 3 rapid kills in succession will heal a small amount and start shield regeneration. That is very strong. We'll have to see exactly how strong it is when it actually comes out. And the final one is Final Round. The last round in a magazine deals bonus damage. So the Swordbreaker sounds like a really strong weapon. Next is the Black Hammer Sniper Rifle. And this has incredibly high range, pretty low rate of fire, and an okay impact. And the magazine size for this is 3, and it says it deals solar damage. Again, I got information here, but I don't think it shows for you guys on the screen that it does. And the special modifiers here are White Nail, 3 consecutive precision hits in rapid succession will refill the mag, so it's kind of like Lifestealer that we just talked about. And then Mulligan, missing a shot has a chance to return ammo directly to the magazine, which is very helpful for a sniper rifle. Now we're looking at the Murmur Fusion rifle, which is one of the most unique weapons. I'll talk about that in a second. First off, the stats, very high impact and a pretty high stability and reload with a 6 magazine size. So what you can do with this weapon, you can switch between elements. Crazy. You can pick arc or solar with the Murmur. And also the modifiers are Grenadier, kills with this weapon reduce the cooldown of your grenade, and knee pads, slide further when this weapon is equipped. And so there's also some rumors about being able to level up this item from a common to a rare to a legendary to an exotic, something crazy like that, but I don't really know yet. I can't confirm anything, so I'm going to do some more research and probably have another video on this weapon for you guys. Now we're moving on to heavy weapons. We have the Fang of Eire, which is a machine gun, and the stats, incredibly high rate of fire, maxed out, and the other only high point is the reload, and the magazine size is 35. This weapon deals arc damage, and the modifiers are Darkbreaker, projectiles will over-penetrate through Hive Night Wall of Darkness, which is similar to the weapon that we mentioned earlier, and then Grenadier, kills with this weapon reduce the cooldown of your grenade, which is similar to the Murmur. So this looks like a pretty solid machine gun. The final weapon we're looking at today is Hunger of Crota, which is a rocket launcher, and the stats, this rocket launcher has very high velocity, reload, blast radius, and stability. Pretty high in all of those categories, but a very low rate of fire. It's got a 2-round mag. This weapon causes solar damage. So the modifiers here, tracking. Shells fired from this weapon track their targets, which is a pretty common, exotic, legendary rocket launcher modifier. And cluster bomb. Rockets create cluster bombs when they detonate, which again is pretty common. So anyways, guys, that was a lot of information. I want to know from you all, what do you think is the strongest weapon here? I want to say that pulse rifle is probably one of the strongest. The Oversoul Edict, that looks very, very strong. But I'd like to know what you guys think as well. And if you learned something new from this video, remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Destiny tips and tricks and news content. Talk to you guys next time. Peace!